you get when you combine two childhood friends who have never grown up, have an unhealthy competitive streak, and always think they're the funniest people in the room? You get the Unfunniest Podcast!
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, now, we call this the act of mating.
Yeah, we don't want to do anything to scare your children.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 8. It's going to be a little shortened one, but we are now in June 2nd. It is a Monday, June 2nd, and believe it or not, it's supposed to be June. It was 80 degrees out. Mike, you can't complain about the weather today, obviously, right?
I was near the water, and it was not close to 80.
Oh, okay, whatever. So it is episode 8. We've made it officially like two months now. So we haven't stopped coming up with topics to talk about, and people keep coming up. And in fact, we met two fans at the Panthers game on Sunday. We'll talk about that later. But first, big news of the day, Lions talk. And Benjamin, who apparently is our biggest fan, this one's for you. We're going to be talking mostly sports today. Lions news today. It's obviously most people have heard it, but Frank Ragnow, Lions center, retires at the age of 29. It'd be nice to be able to retire at 29, although his body's pretty darn beat up from there. But Ragnow, honestly, I was going back through the years and me being an old lineman and coach, everything else. I think the only other person I could put in comparison maybe to what he's done as an offensive center for the Lions was maybe Glover, Mike Glover from back in the day with Barry Sanders, Kevin Glover, but probably one of the top centers in all of football for the last couple of years.
Yeah. I mean, you're seeing this more and more now where you've got these NFL players that are retiring at a much earlier age. Had a little personal experience with old Dane Sonsenbacher back in the day. Our cousin was dating him, and remember talking to him about how the concussions just took a toll. I believe he got drafted by the Bears, played for the Bengals, and after I think it was 9 concussions, he called it quits. And he's just like, dude, I can't do it anymore. No. And I remember him the way when you'd be having a conversation with him and he would kind of zone out. He's a great guy. I mean, I really liked him. Pretty down to earth, level headed, had a really good perspective on things. He's gone on to a career in broadcasting, local media in Toledo, but he was pretty cool. But you could definitely tell there were certain times where the concussions absolutely had an effect on him. And he'd kind of zone off. He would admit it. He said, his short-term memory at times was certainly not where it needed to be. But, I give him credit. I mean, he just got to a certain point. He's like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm assuming Ragnow, and I don't know how many concussions he had, if he had any concussions, whatever. But, again, I think these these men are getting to a point of, hey, longevity of life, quality of life, whatever it might be, we got to get to a certain point. I mean, I would assume most of them have made more money than they ever thought or dreamed of. Mm-hmm. And, so, you give them credit, right?
It kind of reminds me of TJ Lang. I mean, he had several concussions throughout his career. And I think it was either one of his last ones, if not his last. I mean, the guy was walking off the field crying. I mean, that's pretty scary.
The thing with Ragnow, from what I've read, I think is something to do. I think it's his big toe or something, where essentially it's just dead. The nerves are so shot, the turf toe on there is so messed up with everything. It's so his feet are just messed up, but yeah, I mean, he just signed that big contract a couple of years ago, so he's probably $40 million in earnings after everything's said and done. Hopefully, got 10-15 million in the bank. You could live comfortably the rest of your life, obviously, with that. But concussions, I've talked about both you guys before too. That I know that I've been diagnosed with 9. But when I talked to a neurologist and said the years that I played, everything else, she said the number realistically is probably 200 is the number of concussions I probably had.
Well, that explains a lot. You're an idiot.
It does. No. It does. Yeah, absolutely. But no, you sit there and you worry about it all the time. About
you seriously had 9?
I've been knocked out cold 9 times.
Wow.
Not necessarily through
know that.
football. One was on a wave runner in the middle of Lake St. Clair. One was I did it twice in one day playing hockey at Western. My very first concussion ever was when I was in fourth grade, when I was playing football for the first time, and I wouldn't hit the kid in front of me. And the coach picked me up and kind of threw me into the player, player in front of me, went helmet to helmet, and I was knocked out cold. Of course, that coach is still part of my life today as my dad, but I don't hold any bad grudges against him for that, obviously. But those little things of they mount up, and every time you get your head knocked, or every time I can't remember something, is it the ADD? Is it getting old? What is it? So it's a scary thing these days.
Well, I'm sure Ragnow, the naysayers are going to be out there. They're going to go, "Oh, turf toe." Okay, well, until you're actually in a position where you're on a field and you're pushing off with either your left or your right foot, and you are 100% dependent upon pushing off with either foot, you have no idea. So again, I think he'll probably, if that comes up, people are like, "Oh, well, power through it." You're an NFL football player. Same thing. The NBA. I don't remember who it was a couple of weeks ago. Was it Brunson was having a problem with one of his? I don't remember. Anyways, you got to look at it and think to yourself, okay, you're planting. I don't care what toe it is, big toe, middle toe, whatever, pinky toe. You can't push off. I mean, and if like you said, if your toe is quote unquote dead, you can't play anymore. I mean, it's just that simple. So, you got to put things in perspective. But again, I'll say I think if Ragnow got to a point and he just figured quality of life, family. I'm 29. I've made more money than I have any idea what to do with, and it's time to step away. So I give him a lot of credit for that.
The guy deserves it. I mean, he's been a lot through the Detroit Lions organization by far.
Yep.
So it's good to see him have some success in the end.
Well, if you ever get a chance, go to his YouTube page. He's got some funny YouTube. He actually took Jared Goff fishing one day on Lake St. Clair.
I saw that one. That is funny.
He launched.
Ragnow did?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's basically claimed that he's probably never going to move out of here because he claims this is the best fishing and the best boating area in the area.
Lex, thank you.
Oh, and there,
Jimmy's got disco lights over there.
Yeah.
He's a huge outdoorsman, huge everything else, and so he loves it here. But you talk about and why it's important. I think he had to have given the Lions a little heads up with this because center, and Mike, obviously you were a quarterback, you know this, but to me being in center is to me is one of the most stressful positions on the field. And the reason I say that is not only you're the quarterback of that offensive line, you're calling out, and most times you're calling out protections, you're calling out what's going on, you're making sure the other four guys in the O-line are doing what they need to do. You're having to change, especially in the NFL, having to notice any stunts, any changes, any blitzes coming up. Then you got to remember the snap count. You got to remember what's going on there. You have to make sure if there's any changes, what's going to happen. And then typically
center to quarterback.
Typically centers are the smaller of those three offensive line positions, those five offensive line positions.
Well, they have to be more agile too.
Yeah, exactly. And not only you got to do all that, but you're also got to snap in a fraction of a second. You got a guy trying to rip your head off. So all of those factors combined, you're getting nailed every single play. They got Lions right now. The only center that they've got, I think, listed technically would be Graham Glasgow. From Michigan, who to me, Glasgow is a great offensive line. He's a good offensive lineman, but he is a great backup offensive lineman. He can play all
just
five
put Sewell in there.
Well, did that affect?
Everyone's
been talking today because in the OTAs in the last week or so, the Lions draft pick out of Georgia, Tate Ratledge, he basically has been filling in at center. He's been taking the number one reps at center. Everyone in the Lions and everybody in the NFL, you always have to learn other positions. You never know when you're going to, especially the Lions, everybody plays every position in the offensive line. So they want to make sure everyone's doing that. But, leads me to believe, I think the Lions knew about this a while ago. And this is now.
They had to have.
Yeah. You're not gonna screw the team over in the last minute and just say,
You think so, though? I mean, you think you would have waited that long? I mean, my guess is he went to start, I know he wasn't at OTAs, but, he probably just tried and just didn't have it in him. Like, I can't do this.
Well, that's what I was going to say, too. I thought maybe he had the thought of trying OTAs, had a couple setbacks, whatever it might be, and then just decided, okay, that's enough. I'm not going to do this.
Yeah,
So.
it very well could be. I mean, we can't read his mind, but obviously with Ratledge in there, good thing everyone, thanks to Crunch Time Sports, who actually listed, heard some interviews Jeff Ifrady did with some of the news guys from down in Georgia. He was the backup. Tate Ratledge was the backup.
Tate Ratledge.
Yeah, he was the backup center for Georgia all those years as well. So used to that and kind of how everything works through there. But that being said, we got that. But there was another football game downtown on Saturday who apparently had some star-studded people on the sidelines. I believe that was the Michigan Panthers, and who else was there? But everybody's Ethiopia's favorite podcast, the Unfunniest Podcast, was there broadcasting live. Jimmy,
we were there live.
Tell me your experience.
It was a good experience. It was cool. I mean, just walking through behind all the behind the scenes and walking down that tunnel. I mean, I kind of got chills, and I wasn't even close to playing, but no, it was cool. Just thinking about, what the players are thinking coming out of there with 50,000 plus screaming. Yeah. Obviously there weren't 50,000 plus there, but
no, they had a pretty good crowd.
16,000 just over.
I mean, is that what it was? Yeah. Was that the announced crowd?
16? I think near 17. It was the largest announced crowd since they've been back to Detroit.
I mean, just walking through the concourse when a big play happened for the Panthers. I mean, it was pretty incredible, like how loud that place got.
Oh, it was really incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's honestly, I still say it's one of the best stadiums there is out there because of the acoustics. It gets loud. And Mike, you've experienced this firsthand. It doesn't, I don't think in person, I don't think on TV really does it justice of just how loud that place gets. I swear there's something different about it where it's 10 times louder in person than you can ever imagine it on TV. And you've texted all of us 100 times. Why are these people cheering? It doesn't sound as loud as it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I had something in my mouth. Yeah. I mean, the couple of games I've been to in the past couple of years, the acoustics in that place is unbelievable. I mean, yeah, you walk down the tunnel, you can kind of hear it just in the pregame stuff, but the amount of noise that reverberates off of the ceiling and down onto the field when you're there, even with only 16,000 people, because I was down in that corner for most of the game, like a loser. But even when the Panthers would make a play, I mean, it was pretty awesome just to hear it the way it was. Yeah, I was pretty impressed. Again, Jimmy sent me a picture of myself walking down the tunnel.
Yeah, I told him to turn around. You forgot your pass.
This is actually pretty cool. Hold on, I got to bring this up because you guys want to see this.
And one of the cool things too, while Mike's getting that, is we got a chance to really interact with some of the players there during this game. Whether it was the kicker for Houston, that's pretty sweet.
There it is.
That's awesome. and the comment of the day by far was, and I wish I can't remember who the player was from Houston, but yelling about how far it was from the locker room and how long of a walk it was to the field. He goes, "I need a golf cart." So,
well, it's crazy. I mean, you walk up. I mean, the incline of that tunnel is insane. Mm-hmm. And think about it, after playing in the first half and having to walk to the locker room and walk up that incline. I mean, it's pretty amazing.
Well, even the players, they got to go down those stairs, and then halftime they got to go up.
Yeah. And for anybody that is looked at that picture, you see all of that rubber mat on the side, and it just shows you how steep it is. They have to have that for players with their cleats. If you were walking on cement, you'd be slipping sometimes going up and down that hill there. But I think it's just cool to kind of interact with them. It's we forget sometimes that you put some guys on pedestals, you put some, people up higher because they're athletes and everything else. And you realize these guys just have a phenomenal talent for what they do. They're just normal guys. I mean, just laughing with the kicker, of course, had the greatest last name, blew it. Apparently, by the way, we were not there when he ran a fake and got hit out in the sidelines, and it started a little mini brawl, by the way.
When was that?
When we were leaving.
Fourth quarter after we left.
Fourth quarter.
Yeah. But the DJ Miller Jr., who we got to talk to for a quick second in the end zone.
Miller Jr. Yes.
Yeah, greatest last name ever. It's my little brother, I'm going to call him now.
I got the fist bump with him.
Yeah. And it was cool. He was the one that initiated it, so it was kind of cool to see those the kickers and the whole long snapper and holder. We got the chance to talk to for the Panthers too, just kind of BSing on the sidelines there. So it was really fun just to do that.
Did everyone see the man?
Oh, there he is on the squad
taking the picture. There he is.
Yeah, the other cool thing too is like
underneath the D. Yes,
how they interact with fans.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, obviously the security's a lot bigger, higher with the Lions. And like you said, Mark, like when they have special celebrity, they're just right outside the tunnel. I mean, we got to walk around the whole field.
Yeah.
And fans got to get on the field. So
yeah, the whole Jake Bates thing was pretty
That was awesome.
That was I think we posted this, but I mean, we want to talk about a cool guy and how he was totally complimentary to the the kids up in the stands. He must have been signing autographs for at least 10 minutes, probably 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And his wife was there with him, and he was kind of walking back and forth, and then he walked over to the other sideline, and then came back again. And it's a totally different perspective when you're on the field, as we were, and I was especially, and I hung around a little bit longer. But you can hear the cool thing is you can hear the fans in the stands and how nothing was vulgar, but how they feel like he has to pay attention to me. I'm yelling his name, Jake, whatever, right? And if he didn't look up or if he didn't acknowledge them, they seemed to get louder. And it wasn't kids necessarily, it was adults. And I thought that was pretty interesting. Again, there was nothing vulgar, but it was almost like these adult men are in the crowd and they're yelling for Jake Bates. And if he didn't acknowledge them, they got louder. Mm-hmm. And even during the course of the game, not at Jake Bates, but being in that corner, being on the field, and just being able in a peripheral way to be able to hear the fans either go after the referees. I mean, we're talking about the Michigan Panthers, we're talking about the UFL, and I get it. There's some passionate fans out there, but some of the guys that were, again, I didn't hear anything vulgar, but they're yelling at the referees like, "What are you looking at?" It to me, it was pretty astonishing. And you just get a completely different perspective being on the field. So you can kind of put yourself in the role of a player, of a referee, of a coach, just walking over the course of a game and hearing in the background. And I'm sure, listen, as you're a professional athlete, you grow up, you mature, you're able to focus that stuff out, right? You zone it out for that matter. But again, just to have that experience of being on the field and hearing just the little tidbits that happen during the course of a game, it's crazy to me. And how, as a professional athlete or as a professional football coach or as a referee, you really do have to focus. You have to tone those words, whoever's yelling at you, you have to tone that out. And it's pretty remarkable to me how these guys are able to do it. Some can't, because you see it, right? But most do. So that's something that, and I'm sure there's plenty of courses and teachings that these guys have to go to, both about ethics and then obviously stuff like that too. So just again, gives you a little perspective as to what these guys go through.
We talked about it a few times. It's insane how bright it is on the field.
Oh, yeah. That's a great point, Jim.
How do these players pick up the ball? I mean,
incredible.
It got better when you were in the end zone, but when you're on the sidelines.
That is a professional indoor dome stadium. And Mark, you and I were talking, and I said, as we were watching them warm up on the sideline, it was pretty remarkable to me how the quarterback would make a pass. You would see it in the lights, and then the ball would start to descend through the part of the stadium where it was dark, and you would almost lose the ball. Again, I'm sure over the course of the game, and I think you made the comment of, okay, these guys learn how to adjust to it, but that's another thing that you have a real appreciation for when you're down there. It's incredible to me how bright it is. It's like playing in the sun, basically, and then you lose the ball, and then all of a sudden there it is again. So there's so many different aspects of how that lighting plays with your eyes, especially for receivers. Obviously, quarterback doesn't have to worry about it as much, but the wide receivers and how they have to pick up the ball and how they have to adjust to that, whether it's an outdoor stadium or an indoor stadium, Ford Field, how bright those lights were. It's crazy to me. So,
You talked about fan interactions. You talk about how interesting things were like that. The thing that still gives me goosebumps, and I was at Western, and we played at Michigan State. It tells you how long ago this was. It was when Nick Saban
Taking my
was
jacket
still
off. Sorry.
Should play stripping music for you right now, Ward. When Nick,
Where's Kathy?
We were there when Nick Saban was still a coach. First off, incredible, almost a fight in between the teams in the tunnel. Our coach is poking at Saban. He's yelling at our coach back and forth. We took the field. I don't care how many people cheer for you. It's an amazing thing. But when we ran out to hear 85,000 people booing you and just screaming at you, that to me was amazing just to hear that. It was totally awesome. And same thing, you got all those people there, and to be on the sidelines as many games as I was at Western, it's awesome just to see that. And the cool thing too, I think you mentioned it, Mike, and Jimmy, you saw it too. The one thing you can't explain to people at all until you are down there is the speed that every one of those guys have.
Yeah.
And it is incredible. And we went to a couple of years ago, Carter, myself, and Kathy, we went to the Western Michigan Northwestern game in Chicago, and we had front row seats towards the right behind Western's bench. And Kathy still today talks about it. She goes, I never realized just how loud it was and how hard they hit, and the sounds that you could hear the air coming out of their lungs sometimes when they get hit so hard. It's a violent game. It's a tough game, and I'm glad we played it. And I'm kind of glad that Carter didn't want to play and Charlotte's not going to play. So as much as I love it, it's not for the faint of heart in a lot of cases.
Well, even when we were in that corner and we were about to go live on that broadcast, and your younger brother Miller Jr. caught that fade pattern right in the corner and came over to me and fist bumped me. Even then, looking back, you can look up again, see the ball, lose the ball, he catches the ball 2 feet in, and he comes flying at me.
He came in hot.
He came in hot, is exactly
I thought he was
right.
going to take us out at one point.
I did too. So that's why I kind of fist bumped, and he was so cool. He just interacted with all three of us while we were down there in that corner. But again, exactly what you just said. You can speak to the level of speed that it actually is.
And that's just
when I was in that corner,
And that's just him warming up.
Yeah, right, exactly. And even when I was down in that corner, and again watching that game, and what you just said, Mark. The level of speed that's happening, and this is the UFL. This is not the NFL, and I'm not saying it's probably is a huge pullback from the NFL speed, but just putting that into perspective and seeing the speed of the game being in that corner field level is incredible. Mm-hmm. It's just incredible, and you just get this level of respect for what these guys go through. And again, I'll give another shout out to, guys like Jake Bates and anybody else on this UFL, these squads. I mean, how they interacted with fans and just try to bring the fans into the game. I mean, when we were over doing that live broadcast, I turned around right after we were done, and I don't remember who it was. He was playing catch. He was playing catch with the kids that were behind the ropes, with the kids playing catch with the football. That kind of stuff. Those kids are going to remember that the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
And that's what we need. I mean, and I'm not saying the Lions are able to do that. The Lions, we talked about this when we were there. That place has to be on lockdown, right? Because then it's raised to another level. What I talked about, those fans in the stands yelling what they were yelling, take that and probably exacerbate it by who knows how many times at an NFL game, right? At an NFL stadium. So they do have to obviously keep that into check. The security is 5 times what it was. But, like I said, to be able to have that fan interaction, get those kids, and that's what I mean, those kids are going to grow up fans of the UFL, obviously the NFL, football in general. And as the safety measures continue to make things better and better with helmets, concussion protocol, whatever, but to get these kids interested in football and get them playing the game of football going forward, I think the UFL is doing just that. It's continuing to bring fan interest, to bring these kids into the game, to get them interested. So
what else those kids are going to remember for the rest of their lives?
Oh no,
Mike Ward giving him a
Mike
high five.
Ward high-fiving him, and Jim Ward high-fiving him. But
if you guys haven't seen it, watched the video.
Dude, that was
it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Then you got me going behind you.
Yeah, you were behind me, and so even Bobby said to me, he's like, "Dad, you guys look like you were celebrities. Like those kids were actually." And you know what? Again, I think we probably
Bobby even said he's like, do they know who you guys are?
Like, no.
Mike
I said it a couple weeks ago. I talked about a joke about who wants Mark's autograph, but the guys with the baseball team I was with, they're like, they don't care. Kids don't care.
Kids
don't just want that experience, and that's the awesome thing there.
And it was pretty neat because as I was doing that, I wish you could have zoomed in because those kids' faces were just like, this guy is on the field and he's giving me high fives and fist bumps and he's asking me if I'm ready. And you could see the look on their face. They were just like, heck yes, I'm ready. This guy just gave me a high five and he fist bumped me. I'm going to go on the field. I mean, you got 8, 9-year-olds that are interacting with us like we're a big deal. We're nobody. Whatever, right? But again, it just goes back to this whole experience of getting these kids interested and getting them passionate about a sport. Get them off their phones. I'm not going under a rant. Get them off their phones. Get them engaged in a sport and get them playing, right? Get their interest levels up.
Yeah, yep. Absolutely.
You got back in the tunnel and one of the kids probably turned around and said to Dad, who was that?
Yeah.
Son, that was Mike Ward. He retired from Cardinal Mooney.
I was joking with Hoppy because Hoppy watched it and he called me and I told him, I said, you know what those kids were saying? He's like, what? I go, most of them were asking me, where's number 1? Where's Hoppy at? Obviously, I was joking, but he started laughing. It was pretty funny.
Well, speaking of big time, speaking of everything coming up, I'm just going to play a quick song for you and tell me what this reminds you of and what's coming up. Exactly.
Yes.
Round Ball Rock.
Starks.
So,
Mark Price.
Now let's talk about something coming up here. We got 2 championship series. The first one we'll talk about, obviously, starts on Wednesday. It is going to be the NHL Finals. We have the Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers. This is going to be a rematch. Did Jim Jim take a break right now, or is he?
Jim has used the restroom.
All right, he couldn't hold it. You forgot to.
He might be my younger brother.
I would think so, but we can't do that until we have.
He's Mr. Short-Term bladder control. Sorry.
I mean, this is what you gotta have.
Gotta go to bathroom, 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 gotta go.
All right.
Beautiful.
So, Mike, you and I will start. Let's talk about the
Jim is back.
The series. Thank you, Jim. Did you go to the bathroom? Did everything come out okay?
Everything's good.
Okay, good. So we're going to talk about the NHL playoffs first. Panthers and Edmonton Oilers start on Wednesday. Thank goodness they bumped this up so we don't have to wait like everybody else for the NBA games. But I personally, I don't think I mean, the last series was great and it was horrible. Florida almost blowing a 3-0 lead, having to go to Game 7 against McDavid, who one of my favorite writers in Florida.
You're talking about last year.
Yeah.
Not the last series, right?
Well, last year's series, correct.
Yeah, yes. Last year's NHL Stanley Cup final.
Right. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it starts in Edmonton, so Edmonton has home ice advantage with this one.
Edmonton has home ice.
So I think it's going to be an incredible series. To me, I think it's going to go 6 games, and I think Edmonton's going to win, and I think McDavid's going to solidify himself as that next great player. He's going to take that torch from Ovechkin, I think, in the end. But I think that's what's going to happen is Edmonton in 6.
I think this series goes 7. I really do. I think you've got this. These are 2 freight trains headed at each other. Both teams are at the absolute top of their game. I think Tkachuk, while he hasn't scored a lot of points up to this point, his involvement. He hasn't scored a lot of goals. His point count total, though, is pretty remarkable. He's getting other people involved. He's being the one of the Broad Street bullies, right? Whatever. It's an old cliche, but he's mucking it up. He's creating space. He's creating plays. I think Bobby, Bobrovsky is playing at the top of his game.
Officer Bobrovsky. Right?
Yeah. I think he's at the top of his game. I think that there was never really a doubt about that last series. I honestly think, Carolina was outmatched. They really were. And Florida took it to Carolina. They had not seen previously in any other series in all season for that matter. But I think Florida is on an absolute wrecking ball train path going into the finals. And then on the other side, same exact thing, right? Edmonton is playing the same exact way. I mean, Dallas came out, won game one, and it's almost like Edmonton said, all right, fine, we'll mess around with you a little bit. And then McDavid and the rest of them, all of a sudden, they just basically said, okay, here we go. So that's why I think that this will probably be one of the best NHL Stanley Cup finals in a long, long time.
It's going to be a physical series.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a really physical series. The speed of both teams is going to come into play. And I think that this is going to be something to watch. This is going to be awesome to watch. I'm excited as all get out, to be honest with you.
So who's going to take it in 7? Like you said.
I think Florida takes it in 7.
Florida?
I really do.
Florida.
And by the way, before Jimmy signed, there's 2 things. I cannot stand the man, Brad Marchand. He is
Why?
the most. He's a little guy. I just want to punch him every time I see him on the ice. But and tell me there's not a funnier name in hockey than Stuart Skinner, the goalie. Stuart
Skinner.
And for anybody that's not a Shoresy fan or Yellow or Letterkenny, that's a big shout out to that. But
it's funny you talk about Brad Marchand, and he was quoted as saying he grew up a Leafs fan. And they pretty much dismantled the Leafs, just like every other team does, either in the first or second round. Sorry, Leafs. Sorry, Beamer. But I remember Marchand saying, and this is kind of cool because I think this again talks about the level of what the professional athletes go through. And he said that he listens, especially from the Leafs fans, like, oh, he was a traitor and this and that and everything else. He's like, listen, I got a contract. I'm playing for Florida, right? This is my job. This is what I'm going to do. And he goes, that motivates the living daylights out of me. That pushes me even harder. And he goes, and I loved beating the Leafs, and I loved seeing the pain that they went through. He goes, probably a Leafs fan, true and true, down deep in my heart, but I love it. So these athletes listen to that stuff. They hear. So the same thing I said earlier about they tone it out, but at the same time they listen to it. And I think they have selective hearing about what they want to hear, what they take in, and how that motivates them. So Marchand saying something like that is exactly what I mean, right? They take that kind of stuff and they use it as motivation. So don't discount that either. But yeah, I think this is. I think the Panthers take it in 7. I think they probably look at last year and say, hey, we were up 3-0. We let them come all the way back into Game 7. We had to put them away in Game 7 and win our first Stanley Cup. And I don't know why I like the Panthers. I don't know. It's probably because I've been there. I've been to probably at least 3 or 4 games. It's a cool arena.
It's Florida. It's really where Mike wants to go.
Yeah, it's Florida, right? I mean, you're talking about probably 12, 14 years ago when I first started, going to games down there. And we'd go to Land and Sea had a suite. And I don't know. It endeared me to the whole thing. So,
all right,
if
Mike
I have
and
to root for anybody.
As now I have to say, because my wife has reminded me that like 2 bullies, we never let Jimmy talk. So Jimmy, it's your turn.
About the Panthers? Yeah.
No, what's your pick?
The Panthers for sure. Yeah.
Florida?
I mean,
okay, how many games?
Just watching the series against just all 3 teams that they've beaten so far, they just know how to bounce back. I mean, 1-1 in the third period, and boom, next thing you know, it's 5-6-1.
It's crazy.
It's just nuts. And that happened, 2 games in a row at least? If not 3? Yeah.
Well, the first round... round they took care of Tampa really easily, and then it was I seriously thought that the Maple Leafs are going to beat them. I thought Toronto were going to beat them.
I kind of thought the same thing.
Yeah,
it's going to be tough to win in Edmonton. I mean, that place is just going to be rocking. Crazy. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And if here's the geek in me saying it. If I'm not mistaken, this is the furthest 2 teams are from each other in NHL. So there's no teams. Yeah, there's no teams that are further apart from each other than these 2. It's a 6-hour flight, something like that, between the 2 of them. Yeah, crazy. So how many games do you think this is going to last, Jimmy?
7.
7? All right.
Yeah.
So all of us think they're going to get our money's worth. So now, Jimmy,
you
you're going to
took
start.
you took Edmonton in 7.
I
right?
took Edmonton in 6.
Oh,
Yeah.
6?
Yeah, 6. What's a big difference? It's one less game. Come on now. All
That's
right.
a big difference. Not only is it one less game, you're taking Edmonton. So you just took what Jimmy and I said about 7-game series going to Florida, and you're saying,
Yeah.
well,
and they're going to win it. They're going to win it in Florida. All right. So now we talk about the NBA, which the two of the smallest market teams going against each other, Oklahoma City and Indiana. I'm looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a good series because you got two good team, really good.
Yeah,
teams.
I shouldn't poo-poo it.
It's not big.
I take
it's not
my
big markets
back,
but it's big game. I mean, SGA is a superstar in Halliburton, and everybody else on Indiana's been playing great.
That kid Halliburton impresses me.
Yeah, his dad.
He's pretty clutch.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody has been great with that. Jimmy, who do you think's going to win, Oklahoma City or Indy?
So I think OKC overall is a better team, but I'm gonna go on a wild goose chase here and say I'm gonna take Indiana.
Oh,
yeah.
How many games?
God, that might be a 7-game series too. If Indiana's going to pull it off, I think it's got to go 7. It's going to go 7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who's got home court?
Sense.
Sorry,
Oklahoma City.
Okay.
Oklahoma City had the best record, in basketball this year.
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the same. I'm saying Indians. I'm saying them in 7. Please, for the love of God, don't wear those stupid jerseys that say Indy and like fluorescent yellow, blue. Come on, man.
Once again, I'm going to be the outcast here because I think there's nobody going to touch Oklahoma City, and I think they're going to take it in 5.
5.
I think it's going to be
Miller
the gentleman's
out
sweep.
on a limb. Man,
I think so. I'm going to go crazy here. I'm not going to say it's. I mean, I just think they're that good. I just don't as good as Indy is too. I just don't. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. And not saying that
5.
this is going to. Yeah, not
put
saying
some
it's
money
going
on
to
this, Miller.
This is not a rant. No, I've quick
my.
completely, but it's not really a rant of mine. But I think there's someone else here maybe that does do rants. And hold on for 1 second. That might get ready.
It's time for everyone's favorite segment, Mike's Rant of the Week. And now, here is Mike with his rant.
Thank you, Catherine. Once again, with that lovely...
It's Kathleen. Kathleen.
What? Is it Kathleen?
Kathleen, yes.
Kathleen, I stand corrected in my mispronunciation of your name. My sincere apologies. The voice, once again, threw me off. My rant of the week. What?
I knew that.
What?
Thanks, Kathleen, by the way, for sticking up for me.
Yeah, thank you,
These two
Kathleen.
guys just like to hear each other talk. So
Kathy,
I like to
Kathleen,
hear them talk too.
Katie, Catherine.
Anyways, your rant, sorry.
Yeah. Anyways, my rant this week goes along the lines of, I suppose I should, once again, I find myself every week say this. I will preface this by saying, yes, I realize the cannabis industry is legal in this state, is also legal in Ohio. You people are certainly free to do what you want with your lives. But my God, for the love of everything that is holy, walking through grocery stores, walking through party stores, gas stations, I feel as if some people are bathing in cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
It literally blows you back off of your feet, and you say to yourself, I believe I just got a contact buzz. I don't know how some of these people leave their homes smelling like this. Clearly, despite it being against the law, it's the same offense as a DUI, driving while you are under the influence of any type of drug is illegal. You can also smell it while you're driving. So again, it's legal. Everyone's entitled to the way they can do things. But I, for one, am very disgruntled at having to smell said cannabis in the air everywhere I go. Please take a shower and or do it in the comforts of your own home, and then refrain from doing said things in public.
I'm going to back you 100% on this, even though I need that for my nerve pain and everything.
Yes.
I don't smoke. I can't stand that smell. I hate when I have to go in and look. It's just you definitely tell the smell. It's not like you're going to be losing anything when it comes to that.
Yeah. So I got to be careful here. I'm just going to say the industry I work in, there's a lot of that.
Yep.
It's
an industry that necessarily maybe shouldn't be.
It's mind-boggling. So
yeah.
No judgment.
No,
we're not passing judgment.
No.
It is legal.
I know people that take it to help sleep and
no judgment at all.
No judgment.
I just wish some people would take a shower before they go in public. Please take a shower before you go and shop for your groceries. For the love of Pete. Holy moly.
We mentioned you're going to keep it. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that the whole driving thing. I mean, seriously, you have to do it while you're driving? Why? I just... Okay, again, old man yelling at clouds. I have a hard time.
Michael, I agree with you on this one. I think many people are going to agree with you. And as I'm looking down quickly, I'm seeing our Detroit Tigers have a 10-0 lead over the White Sox. The MLB league leading. Every time they lose a couple of games like they did to the Guardians, I'm thinking, okay, they're going to come back down there. They'll lose more series. No, they just win 7 straight. They win 6 straight. It is mind-boggling that what they're doing right now. And I just, even if they're hitting trash cans, I don't care what they're doing. They're still the best team in baseball, but it's a short week. We talked about it. So we're going to give you guys your time back, 40 minutes. We said 30 minutes.
Hold on a minute.
What's up?
Well, I want to go back to the NHL and the NBA. Stanley Cup final. It's not finals. It's not plurals. It's NBA or NHL final. Stanley Cup final versus the NBA Finals. I'd like to share a video of which I saw. Hold on a minute. Here we go with my technical difficulties. I got to share my screen. So this is the NHL versus the NBA, and I thought this was really good. So check this out. You ready? Here we go. Oops. Oh, yeah.
Let's go.
Wow.
Boys.
This is awesome.
Look at this. Can you ever in a million years see Jordan doing that?
No.
It's again, it's kind of like, oh man, seriously. I saw that the other day. I was like, but this is perfect because I knew we were going to talk about the NHL and the NBA finals.
Yeah.
And I thought this was very appropriate to bring up because
appropriate. And like you said,
all right, hold on.
You would never see Jordan doing that. I mean,
hold on, I got to share one more thing because I know Miller wants to go home early tonight. This is Enter Sandman at Vatek. This is nothing short of incredible. I love this.
Yeah.
Dude, if I can replicate this at any sporting event that I'm announcing, PA announcing, whatever, I'm going to make it my life goal. So let me share my screen.
That's awesome.
This is, you ready? Dude, I love this more than life itself. Well, here we go.
Oh, this is when they actually played there.
Goodness. Oh, man. Dude, can you imagine that?
I can't. But
yes,
it gives me goosebumps hearing it. So speaking of goosebumps, and I think
my neck is standing up.
That's when you start acting like not yourself.
Dude.
No. He's going nuts.
Incredible.
Yeah. Well, speaking of incredible.
Got locked in now, laser focus.
There we go. Stop
Speaking of
sharing.
all of that and big activities, everything else, Michael, there was
Hold
an
on,
important
I don't know.
activity yesterday in the Ward household. What happened yesterday?
Oh man, my little baby. My baby. She graduated. Jim was there. I can't believe I didn't shed a tear. And I don't know if I should admit that or not, but I found
I checked on you a few times.
It was almost surreal. It's almost like I had an out-of-body experience. I don't know how to explain it. I'm sitting in that seat. Jimmy's to my left. The rest of the fam's to my right. And I found myself, like, seriously having an out-of-body experience. Like, there's no way my baby girl is graduating. There's no way she's up on that stage. And I found myself staring at her in just like this awe. I guess that's the best way to describe it. And Becky said something to me a couple days ago. She goes, what do you think? And I go, honestly, I've been trying to not think about it. I've been trying to put it out of my head. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know if I was that way with the boys. I kind of remember both of them. Obviously, I remember both of them when they graduated. But for some reason, her, and maybe it's just because she's the baby, she's the girl.
She's your girl. She's your baby.
Yeah, I just kind of put it out of my head. But by the end of the procession, and when they said her name and everything else, I guess it kind of sunk in. But she just has this calm about her. She's such a vibrant girl. She's confident. She's very confident in herself. And I told her this, and I wrote her a little letter. And I said, you are who you are. And she's pretty cool how she doesn't let other people affect her. Yeah. And she just kind of stays the course. And don't get me wrong, she can. she's
like her father in a lot of ways.
This is God's repayment, apparently. Yeah, but she's very calm. And I found, like, yesterday when she would look at me, she would just kind of give me this look like, hey, Dad, I got this. You got this. We're going to get through it. It's not a big deal. So I don't know how I'm going to handle the wedding day someday. I don't know. But yeah, yesterday was interesting. It was a cool day. She even said to us at the end of the day, she's like, this was really fun. Thank you guys. We came back. We had a barbecue with just the immediate family and everybody. But yeah, it was, I don't know. I still can't put my head around it, but it was a great day. But yes, my baby girl, K-Bear, Bear, Baby Lynn, whatever I call her, how many different names I have for her. But yeah, it was a really cool day. So congrats to her. Congrats to the rest of the class of 2025 of Lutheran High School North. You guys are pretty cool. 142 graduating kids. So
wow, that was as many as in our entire school when we graduated.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was thinking, it's funny. I was thinking about that yesterday when I was sitting there too. So
yeah,
she's just uncle perspective. She's a great girl. She's going places. She's got a bright future. I mean,
yeah, she just has to realize she has to work.
Yeah, well,
she said to me today.
Yeah,
she goes,
Dad, you're not helping.
No. Yeah, I
spoiled.
So I told her, yeah, I know.
That's
Jeep
good.
tires.
It's good. Andy.
Yeah. No, okay. I'm not going to go on a long dissertation, but I told her today, she's like, so I'd like to work at the gas dock, but I'd like you to maybe go there and kind of search out and ask them if I can work mornings and then maybe from like 8 to 11. And then I really don't want to work weekends. So can you go do that for me? I'm like,
it's a gas dock. You work weekends. That's when people buy gas.
That was funny.
So I go there today and I'm talking to the manager. I'm like, she is available at all times. And then I told her that. She goes, what do you mean? I go, you are 17 years old. You're about to be 18. You have to work lots of hours. You have to work weekends. You're going to have to get up early. To work a gas dock is cool. You can make really good money. You know these people. You've grown up around boats. You're going to do fine. But you have to be flexible and you have to work weekends. You're a teenager. So there you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So upcoming week. Jimmy, what's going on this week for you?
Just lots of work. That's about it. Hoping for a nice weekend for once. Boat still has not touched the water. So,
oh yeah, jeez,
true.
It's this weather.
Michael, really other than doing an anti-rain dance, what are you doing?
Well, I got to be honest. Today was insanity. My phone was off the hook. Despite some of the weather over the weekend, we were able to salvage. Yesterday was pretty decent. I think people are looking at the forecast, and people are going to just finally go, enough's enough. We're going to go boating. So that should be good. There's a lot of activity. Got a pretty busy week ahead. I'm going to try to do some stuff on the boat on Saturday. Bobby and I are actually taking our CPL class together on Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we've also got, here we go with grad parties. It's the first weekend of gauntlet of all of them. So that's cool. I enjoy going to them. It's kind of cool to see everybody, talk to everybody. So yeah. So that's this week.
So for this week, for me, it is last week of school for Charlotte.
Oh,
and
cool.
Talk about getting old. This is her last week of second grade. She's going to be a third grader.
Whoa. See what I mean? Snap of a finger and they graduate.
I know. So
Mercy.
It's crazy. It is. But I just, wanted to say thank you guys to everybody that, we did meet quite a few people when we were down at the game. And so really
celebrities.
Exactly. Pretty appreciative of that and getting to see everybody. We're going to look and do some more things this summer. We're going to have some other activities and talk about some baseball and some groups too. And kind of go out from there. And then we got Father's Day coming up and graduation party central. Some fun things around there. We'll have some announcements coming up for that. But guys, last minute saying goodbyes this week.
Thanks for everybody have a great week. Thanks for tuning in to the live broadcast from Ford Field, and then appreciate all the comments. Appreciate the fans that we had there, the UFP fan base. Made us feel like we were rock stars on the field, but no, I'm kidding aside. Yeah, thank you guys for all the likes, all the follows, all the comments. Keep those views going. Keep liking us. Keep following us. If you know people that are interested in our podcast or interested in the things we talk about, please, by all means, have them follow us. Seriously. Listen, send us ideas, things that you guys want to talk about. I mean, content's key, but if there's things that you think are worthwhile of for us discussing, something you're passionate about, we'll review it, talk about it, and then you never know. You could be a guest appearance on the UFP.
Yeah, and we promise to let Jimmy talk. Other than when I just cut him off.
Yeah, just let me talk. I mean, I was just gonna say, if anybody out there is looking for a high five or a fist pump from the Mike Ward, just message us and we'll make it happen. Live appearance, graduation party. You need them there. You want an introduction?
Brisses,
Mike announce you. We're good to go.
All right, guys. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great week.
All right, guys. Have a good week.
See ya.
See ya.